How's it going, everybody? This is Craig Peters here from Soundiron, and in today's video we're going to be talking about composing a cinematic style track using loops and one-shots. So if you want to get access to any of these samples and actually be a part of the competition that's going on over at Native Instruments, make sure to click the link in the description below. Alright, so today we're going to be building a track from scratch using these sounds. We'll go ahead and play through some of them and just kind of see where it goes and see where it leads. So let's have fun. Hopefully you guys enjoy, and let's get started. So these are a bunch of samples, one-shots and hits and stuff that I thought would be fun for the competition. Some different grooves and different things like that. So let's just go ahead and just start dragging some in. I'm using Cubase for all this stuff, for all my sequencing. So let's just go ahead and just start popping some stuff in and see what's going on. So this is the first one that we have. This one is a reversed piano sample. So this might be a fun one to actually start the track off with, and I don't have any effects or anything going on. So what I think we'll do is let's just go ahead and set this transient to where it's right here on the beat. I'm gonna go ahead and drag this a little bit back. Pretty much just get it right there, do a little fade in. So I want that to start right on the downbeat. All right, cool. All right, now some of the other samples that are really fun to use that are in this pack of free samples is some of these grooves from Rhythmic Odyssey, and that is a really fun library if you want some really simple, easy to use drum grooves. And what's really cool about Rhythmic Odyssey is that you can actually choose how you play the different slices. So it's not just straight grooves, you can really customize it. But for this situation, we're just gonna be using the straight grooves. So let's just go ahead and pop some of these in here. Maybe let's just have the groove, once that hit starts, that reverse sample on the piano, maybe that can be where the groove starts. So let's just try that. And another thing you want to double check, there is ways of changing the actual flow of the BPM, but I'm just going to keep it all with the BPM that the grooves were made in. So for this, you can see that it's made at 100 BPM. So I'm going to go ahead and change this down here to 100 BPM. So now everything should line up. Actually, we'll probably need to move this as well. Just get that right on the grid. Bring this back. Now let's see what happens. Have this loop a few times. All right, cool. Let's see. Let's go ahead and layer in another one. This is another one, another one of the cinematic grooves from Rhythmic Odyssey too. So let's just go ahead and pop this with this other loop and see how it sounds. So you can hear the difference. And then here's with the other groove on top. So maybe what I'll do is I'll have one groove kind of get it going a little bit, and then I'll use this groove to sort of let it build over time. So we have 4 different bars of this groove, and then we'll start introducing this other one. So let's go ahead and duplicate that. Now let's hear how that sounds. We'll go ahead and all right, so now that we got some grooves and stuff going on, let's just see what other kind of sounds we got. So we got some ambiences. There's a hit from Apocalypse Percussion Elements. There's some violin trems. I think I want to keep the groove relatively simple for now, so maybe what we can do is start adding in some of these ambiences. So let's just go ahead and pop in this one from Crystal. Let's see, we can probably start adding this one in. Let's see, let's let the groove go for a couple times, and then we'll bring in some ambiences. So maybe that ambience is a little early. So let's go ahead and introduce it. So sort of when that other loop comes in, it gets a little bit more intense. So maybe that ambience will fit in a little bit better there. All right, so this is sounding cool. It has kind of a cinematic drama feel to it a little bit. So let's see, let's just go ahead and start bringing in some other sounds. And then we also got these really big bass ensemble hits. Let's just go ahead and play this. So you hear how it sounds. So big cinematic hit. So maybe we can introduce that. So right when that that feedbacky kind of ambient sound comes in, maybe we can introduce it in with some big percussive hits. So let's try that. Turn that down a little bit. Keep that going a little bit. All right, so this is cool, but I think what I would like to do is maybe not just have a one big hit on every couple bars. So what we can do is we can also duplicate it too. So let's go ahead and just duplicate it right here, and then we'll just bring it back so it lands right here. So let's hear how that sounds. Do the same over here. Oh, messed that one up. Let's go ahead and fix that. Bring this right here, and let's see how this sounds. All right, so then we got these other grooves from Motor Rhythms. So let's go ahead and pop those suckers in. Let's listen and see what we got. All right, so let's go ahead and just bring this over here a little bit. So, you know, with some different types of cues and stuff, you might want to try to introduce some new elements every few bars. So that's kind of what I'm going for with this. One of the things I want to make sure is that this is right on the groove. So you can see that these transients are, you know, lining up and on the groove where they're supposed to be. So let's go ahead and listen to this now. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and duplicate this one. And then what I think I'm gonna do with this is I'm gonna add some effects. So let's go ahead and start dropping some effects on these now. Let's see, I think a reverb would be cool. So let's go ahead and put on some Valhalla Vintage Verb, just default settings, see what happens. So I want kind of like my main grooves in the forefront and then in the background using some of the grooves. This one's from Motor Rhythms. So it has a lot of really interesting metallic sounds and hits made from this really kind of crazy drum kit made of a bunch of car parts and motor parts and stuff like that. So now let's just go ahead and hear how this sounds. Actually, I think I want to leave a little bit of space so before it goes into the next part. So right there, I want that part to just stop. And I think I'll cut this off about here. That's cool. I like that. Kind of gives it a little space before it goes into the next part. All right, so now let's just go ahead and just start adding in some more stuff. So let's see, we got this other anti-drum X ensemble groove. I think I want to introduce a new groove here, so get that lined up on the grid. Now let's see. Keep that going. Okay, that sounds a little dry too, so let's see. Maybe we can experiment with a little bit of delay, see how that sounds, get a little weird. All right, so let's play around with some of the presets. Maybe some kind of weird reverb pitch thing. Valhalla has a ton of really cool stuff. Let's see. Let's just see what happens here. Actually, that might be a little too weird. So actually, here, let's go ahead and let's just get rid of that. Could always just play around with, just put a little shimmer on it, see what happens. That's cool. So just to give it a little ambience, just so it's not so dry. All right, I'm actually gonna, I think I'm gonna cut this off here and maybe add another ambience. All right, so I like this groove. I think I'm gonna keep that the way it is. Now let's go ahead and see what other ambiences we have. So we got this one. This one is an Elysium harp ambience called Chroma Drone. We'll see how this sounds. All right, so let's go ahead and add some reverb to this one too. I think, let's see, let's add some black hole to it. Something different to kind of play off of the other reverbs I got going on. That sounds cool. All right, so let's go ahead and we'll introduce this one when this new groove comes in. So let's see what we got. Down a little bit. Let's see. Really have it more in the background. All right, so we got some of these other sounds too. So let's play around with, let's check out this violin trem in C. All these are basically in C, so you can kind of use that as a bass to play around with, manipulate the samples however you see fit. So this is just a violin trem. Let's see here how this sounds. So just a violin trem going in and out of sort of like softer and louder dynamics. All right, so let's go ahead and add this violin trem a few bars up just to introduce something new. Bring in a little tension. So maybe right here we can go ahead and bring back that groove that we had from earlier. So it's bringing back a little something familiar. We can bring back some of these hits. You know, if you have the sounds there and you're already kind of building a foundation, you don't need to always completely bring in new sounds. It's definitely cool if, let's say, if you're working the picture and you really want some part to stand out. But I mean, for this is more just kind of like a cinematic, dramatic tension cue kind of thing. So, or at least that's kind of where it's heading. I really like to use the Seventh Heaven Professional on strings. Let's see, we got these rooms. Actually, you know, let's do the halls. Boston A-Hall, that's a really cool one. All right, so let's see how this sounds now. I want to listen. All right, I think I like that. All right, so let's listen to how this whole part sounds. All right, so that we got that. And then maybe we can go ahead and bring back that crystal ambience. So what I'm thinking, what I like about this is how it starts off with this kind of feedback sound to it. So maybe right there, I'll cut that off. And maybe just use that over and over. Let's see, maybe I'll just repeat all this. Yeah, let's try that, see how this sounds. And since that's kind of dry, I think I want to put a reverb on there too. Let's just add shimmer. Normally, I would sort of have all these sent to a bus or that sort of thing, but since I'm working kind of quick, I'm just kind of throwing plugins on there. So let's hear how this sounds. So since those kind of cut off and clip a little bit, I think what I want to do is just kind of fade them back so they sort of swell into each other. That sounds a little bit better. So you're almost taking these, you know, what would be just a normal ambience and kind of making them a little bit more rhythmic, a little bit more grooving since they're sort of on top of these other grooves. Now, let's see, maybe we can bring in that other groove from Motor Rhythms. Introduce that back in here again. Maybe we can add it here. Let's see what happens. So let me go ahead and line that up to the grid again. Make sure all this stuff is where it's supposed to. Let's just go ahead and tighten that up. All right, so I'm gonna take these bass ensemble hits. I'm just gonna have them pretty much on the downbeat of every couple bars. And then at the very end, we'll just go ahead and finish it off. And then for this, maybe we'll add another, let's see, we got, what's this room sound? So really simple, just, you know, like I said, this is kind of working quick, so we're just trying to get something workable going. So we have that. Let's see what else we have. Let's see, I want to add in one more sound before we wrap this up. So what's this sound here? This is... That's cool. Maybe we can pop this here. And then once this other stuff happens, we'll just kind of fade it out. So let's see what happens here. All right, so let's pop this in here. Okay, that works. See, do I want to keep that going? Actually, I think I might want to make a loop just out of that. Just go ahead and take that off so we don't have no sort of pops or anything. We'll just screw it. Let's just extend it and see what happens. All right, so at about this stage is where I'll probably start messing around with some mastering plugins and that sort of thing. So, all right, so let's just go ahead and add a little bit of limiting on here. We'll go ahead and turn this off, increase this a little bit. And yeah, now let's go ahead and play it from the top. So working like this is really fun because putting limitations on the different sound sources or loops or one-shots that you have at your disposal, it can definitely take your creativity to a different level as far as being able to take some loops and make them your own. And I think as artists and sound designers and composers, it's definitely up to us to take the loops and make them our own. You know, there's a lot of people that sometimes maybe steer away from wanting to use loops or say, you know, everyone uses those, and it definitely can get overused, but I think it's up to us to kind of personalize them and make them our own. So I hope you guys have fun with this. I hope you guys enjoy this video. Definitely make sure to check out the link in the description if you want to play around with these sounds yourself. So thank you so much for watching, and we will see you in the next video. Take care.